NCTV presents this program in color.
From the Langford Center studio at Newberry College, this is Wolves Weekly. I'm Miguel Hernandez.
And I'm Brady Triplett.
And it's been a busy week as Newberry sports teams wind down their seasons. So let's take a look at the latest scores and highlights over the last week. In baseball, the Wolves got 14 hits against USC-Aiken Tuesday at the Smith Road Complex, but lost 7-4. Although the Wolves scored first and kept the score close through the game, USC-Aiken scored runs in 5 different innings to take the non-conference game. On Friday, the Wolves began their final homestand by facing Catawba in conference action. Catawba scored 6 runs in the first 2 innings and were able to hold off a comeback effort by Newberry to take the first game 8-5. In Game 1 of the Saturday doubleheader, Newberry scored 3 runs in the 5th inning to take the lead, only for Catawba to tie the game in the 7th and win the game with 2 more runs in the 9th. Defeating the Wolves 5-3 in the final game of the series, Catawba scored 1 run in the 1st and 2 more in the 5th, and held the Wolves 2 runs and their 6-2 win. The Wolves are now 24-22 overall, 17-13 in the conference. They'll play against Mount Olive and Florence on Tuesday before finishing the season in a 3-game series at Mars Hill University next weekend.
The softball team took both games of a conference doubleheader against Wingate at the Smith Road Complex Wednesday afternoon. In the first game, the Wolves scored in 3 different innings, worked 9 walks to pull ahead, including a 4-run 6th inning, to take a 6-5 win in the second game. Newberry scored 4 runs in the 3rd inning and held off Wingate to win 4-3. On Saturday, the Wolves faced Lenore-Rhine in Hickory, North Carolina, in the first game. Newberry scored twice in the 3rd and 5th innings and got 6 hits, but Lenore-Rhine scored early and prevailed 5-4. In the second game, Newberry scored 2 runs in the first inning, but the Bears opened up by scoring 4 runs in each of the second, 4th, and 5th innings. The game was called after 5 innings, with Lenore-Rhine winning 13-3. The softball team is now 16-24. 7-13 in conference, and will play its final doubleheader of the season at the Smith Road Complex against Tusculum on Saturday.
In men's lacrosse, the 13th ranked Wolves dominated the Tusculum Pioneers in a 23-5 win Saturday night at Setzler Field. The Wolves scored 6 goals in the first quarter and 5 more in the second, holding Tusculum to 1 goal in the first half. Newberry added 7 more goals in the 3rd quarter. And although Tusculum added 4 goals in the 4th quarter rally, Newberry countered with 4 more goals to put the game far out of reach. The men's team ends its regular season at 11-4, 7-2 in the conference.
The women's lacrosse team traveled to Catawba Wednesday afternoon for a conference game. Catawba scored 2 goals in the first quarter, but Newberry scored 6 goals in the second quarter and dominated the rest of the game, defeating Catawba 15-6. Ella Todd scored 4 goals and had 2 assists for 6 points. Nicole DiNapoli added a hat trick. 10 different players recorded at least 1 point, and the Wolves forced 18 turnovers. On Saturday, the Wolves dominated Tusculum 14-6 win at Setzler Field. Newberry scored 3 goals in the first quarter and 7 in the second, taking 10-2 lead into halftime and holding off a challenge from Tusculum in the second half. Shannon Craig had 5 goals and 3 assists. Ella Todd had 1 goal and 5 assists. Lena Hollow passed 100 career points, and Presley Green got 100 career saves. The Wolves are now number 5 seed in the South Atlantic Conference tournament, which begins next Saturday.
In tennis, the championship hopes the women's team came to an end Thursday in the opening round of the South Atlantic Conference Championship, facing Anderson University in the opening round, and the Wolves took the opening doubles games with Lena Sarhan and Hazel Vernon, winning 6-3. However, Anderson took the next 2 doubles matches and the double points. Although Hazel Vernon and Renee Dorval posted wins in singles, Anderson scored wins late in the match that doomed Newberry's hopes. The tournament marked the conclusion of the Wolves' 2026 tennis season.
The women's golf team completed its last season last weekend at the South Atlantic Conference Women's Golf Championship in Greenville. The Wolves opened with a plus 48 in the first round, followed by a plus 54 in the second round, and a plus 39 in the final round. Natalia Alleguera led the Wolves with a finish of plus 29, including a 4 over 76 on the final day. Ashton Mosley posted a plus 34 overall, and Aislinn Olas with a plus 36. Chloe Tanner with a plus 44, and Rushna Ali with a plus 45. The Wolves posted a 9th place finish in the tournament.
The track and field teams were at the South Carolina State Invitational in Orangeburg on Saturday. Tavarian Thompson placed first in the men's 400 meters, and Landon Tucker placed first in the men's 400-meter hurdles. Tyler Shoemate also placed first in the men's 1500 meters. Jalen Cobb placed first in the men's discus throw, and Timothy Hartman placed first in the men's hammer throw. Cassidy Bochard placed first in the women's 400-meter hurdles, and Adele Hilliard and Kylan Boyd took first and second in the women's discus throw. Several Wolves set personal bests, including Jamari Bennett in the men's 100 meters, Tavarian Thompson and Tyler Schumatt in the men's 400 meters, Tatiana Prowl in the men's 200 meters, Cassidy Bocard and Brittany Montgomery in the women's 400-meter hurdles, and Kylan Boyd and Penny Eck in the women's discus throw.
And although the Wolves seasons are coming to an end, you'll be able to keep up with Newberry athletics throughout the summer if you visit newberrywolves.com. There you will be able to keep up with the tournament games of the season, read news about what the Wolves are doing to get ready for the next year, and so much more. All this is available to you anytime you want and anywhere you are at newberrywolves.com. Wolves Weekly will continue in a moment.
How you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Thank you.
A place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
The freedom to live in safety. That's an American dream.
Hello, welcome back to Wolves Weekly. My name is DeAndre Coleman, and today in the studio visiting us is mental health counselor Katreka Durham. Welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Can you give us a little bit about your background and what got you into being a mental health counselor here at Newberry?
So as he's told you guys, I am a mental health counselor. I have been working with youth and adults probably now for over the last maybe about 10 years or so. What really drew me to counseling was just like a situation that happened in my family that took place, and I wanted to learn a little bit more about it. I had just got done with my psychology degree, and it just kind of pushed me over the edge just a little bit to test it out and see, what this field was about. And I love it. I can't, it's what I love. It was definitely for me.
What are some of the requirements that got you into this?
So you have to do a good bit of schooling, internships and practicums. You meet a lot of people, just going to different places. So, one of the biggest requirements is getting that degree, finishing your education, right? And once you get that, you get the master's degree, you get licensed. And then once you're licensed, you go through like some supervision type things. And then after that, you're off into the field.
Where did you receive your degree?
I got my master's degree actually at the University of Phoenix. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, you didn't go to a traditional school, right? But everybody's path and everybody's journey is a lot different. And for me, that worked, right? Because I have a family. So for me, that was just, what I chose for myself. I also had other family members who did the same thing with their degrees and are very successful, right? So I didn't feel like, the tradition had to be a thing.
Yeah. With you being a counselor now, what are some of the things that you can give us that will help us with our mental health?
Oh man, golly. First, I will always encourage, especially you, you're an athlete, right? I will always I encourage everybody, not just athletes, but specifically athletes, to just kind of like stay locked in, right? Know who you are as a person, what you bring to the table, know what you possess, so you're not easily persuaded by the things that go on around you, right? You are your own competition. Right? So like it's you that look in the mirror every day. You're telling yourself these things, we get stuck in our head, we convince ourselves that something is something that is really not, right? So like using like coping skills. So a lot of times people don't even know what that is, right? So sometimes your coping skills is the field. Yeah. Or your coping skills is calling a friend or, writing it down or music, right? So like learning to navigate those outlets and utilize them, be consistent with them.
Yes, ma'am. What are some of the things that you can give us to like us athletes that will help us to, continue to keep going through those tough times that you may have?
I always, for my athletes, I always encourage you guys to challenge yourselves because like you're going to have a lot of people around you that's probably be a little bit better than you, right? And then when you start sizing yourself up against the competition or like the coach isn't paying you any attention and everybody over here, again, it's about who do you know yourself to be? Who am I? Like, what do I bring to the table? I know that I'm good at this thing, right? And then don't stop perfecting your craft. So like if you know like this is something that you enjoy and you love and you have a passion for it, sit in there, right? Perfect your craft. Talk to your coaches. What can I do better at? How can I, get through, whatever it is I'm going through? And then again, communicating with people, talking to people, coming to therapy. Therapy is not a bad thing, right? So you want to break the stigma around that because it's not just telling someone your business, it's actually getting some guidance, right? Just trying to make sense out of the things that are going on in your mind.
For some of us grown adults, what can you give us to like help us with our mental health on becoming older and just, gaining more knowledge and being more, into the world?
Yeah, I hear so much when a lot of students say, like, Ms. K, I'm just not ready to get old. And I'm like, golly, you don't want to stay this age either, right? Because if we stay stagnant, we're not growing and we're not learning, right? So my advice to you guys is to stay open-minded. Like the world is really big, right? And again, you are your own enemy. So whoever you are, when you leave Newberry College, you want to be somebody a little bit better. You want to elevate just a little bit different, right? Stay out of your mind. Stay focused on whatever your goals and accomplishments are, your achievements, and like lock in. Like my biggest thing is like for all of you guys, when you leave the school, is to like lock in. Like where are your goals and aspirations, right? Where do you see yourself going in 5 years? And understand that even though with a plan, there will be curveballs. That's just what life is. But how do you approach that and handle it? Right? It's going to be up to you.
Can you give us some key points on how to approach those things?
So the first thing, one, open-minded, right? So like, let's say you go out into this world, you leaving school and your plan did not go as planned, right? And then I tell everybody too, like it's good to have a plan B. Okay, so if this didn't go my way, how can I navigate this? The choice is yours. The biggest tool, the biggest key is that you have the power to choose how you want this to go for yourself. Right? Surrounding yourself with the right people who's going to keep you encouraged, right? Wherever your spirituality is, right? Lock into that, right? Because a lot of times being spiritual, it keeps us grounded, right? For people. But like, again, the choice is yours. So if you leave and then like a curveball comes and you're just like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? But whatever, you have the power to choose.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Today we're joined by Katreka Limous-Durham, mental health counselor here at Newberry College. Wolves Weekly will continue in a moment.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
You're watching NCTV-Newberry.
For student athletes, the pressure to perform on the field is matched with pressure to perform in the classroom. 2 weeks ago, some of the Newberry standout student athletes were recognized for their academic achievements at the annual awards convocation. Wolves Weekly talked to some of them about how they achieved the balance between sports and academics.
At Newberry College, student athletes don't just compete on the field, they compete in the classroom too. 15 students were named to the prestigious Bachman Honor Society, which recommends the top 8% of the graduating senior class. 4 years of dedication, resilience, commitment, and balance.
So what helps me balance being a student athlete and having such high academics is that structure of the sport, being you have to keep on a schedule, and it's like the timeline to do it, you have to get it done in order to continue. I try to study throughout the day a lot, try to I mostly try to get it all in the morning, so then I'll have my evenings, but I'm also if I have assignments that's obviously to do in the evenings, I'll do them. But then I also try to prioritize me time a lot, so I'll read or I'll watch TV with my friends.
But what does that actually look like?
For me, this semester, I started my internship. So I would have my internship from 7 to 12 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then I would have class from 12:15 to about 1:30. And then I'll have about an hour gap until practice, which starts at 2:30. And then on those Thursdays, we'll have lift at 6. So my day usually doesn't end till around 7. But then I don't usually have a lot of downtime until around 8:30 once my day's over. So now that my days are a little different now, I'll say in the fall when I was student teaching, I'd leave the house around 6:45 in the morning, and then I'd have school from 7 to 2:30. After practice, we would sometimes have weights and then conditioning, and then I'd usually get ready for the next day.
Student athletes have faced some of the biggest challenges during the semester. We have asked them about the times their skills were really tested. Both said during the finals week, that's when we have to balance everything we've learned and worked for, both in school and in sports, and gave it their all.
During the fall, because we are very busy in the fall, and especially during our Wolf Challenge week, that time you really have to lock in because it's also right before finals. So I had to make sure I got all my assignments in while also balancing Wolf Challenge Week and the Wolf Series too. Definitely during season, it gets put in a test. I'd also say the fall when we're doing so much, it is hard, but it honestly gives me that timeline. I have to get things done so I can keep going the next day. So I stay motivated through athletic training, classes, all that stuff by reminding myself how I got here. My parents were a big part of that. Also my main goal, which is PT school, which I do start that in the summer. So that's how I have stayed motivated through all this, is just the overall goal and then the people who have supported me through it all. One of the strategies I use to stay organized are to-do lists, and sticky notes are my best friend. I will have sticky notes every day of what I need to accomplish during that day.
Sometimes it's really hard to stay motivated with everything going on. What keeps things going in the classroom is far beyond systems to get through, but community.
I feel the biggest support for me is from teammates, because they are also going through what I'm going through. And I also try to give them the same support that they give me. And then professors a lot. My professors in the exercise science department, they have been very supportive. And then Coach Smith has always been supportive of academics. All of the support I have is what gets me to the point that I was today. Like, my professors are so flexible with our schedule. Like, if you need extra support, just say that. And our Coach Smith is really great about, he knows that academics come first, and then he usually works with every professor and us as athletes. For future student athletes, I would just tell them, like, make sure you know your priorities, but also prioritize yourself, because it's not worth it if your mental well-being isn't there either, and you're just going through the motions day in, day out. You should be doing it because you enjoy the sport and because you're getting your academic degree that you want out of it. Advice I would give a younger student athlete is to put God first always, and to keep going even when it's hard. Reach out to friends. You have support. Someone loves you, and you can do it.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
These walls and windows hold me tight. The warm embrace we all call home. This little street is a land of liberty of its own, where I always have a place to go. I'm free to call this place my own. We all deserve a place to call home.
That's an American dream.
Welcome back to Wolves Weekly. I'm Miguel Hernandez, along with Brady Triplett. And as we said earlier in the program, this year's sports teams are playing out their last games. And with the end of the season, it's worth taking some time to look back on this year's accomplishments. Brady, you've helped cover the sports teams this semester. I'm interested to know what stands out to you. What are things you'll remember about the Wolves from this year?
There was a lot of good moments from this year. You can think about football, you can think about field hockey, but just overall, the sports teams were just solid this year. Just doing a great job.
Yeah.
And I don't think we plan on ever stopping that.
No, definitely not. Especially with the spring games for the football team. You know, that was probably some good morale booster there. And they, according to my notes here, they also made it to the semifinals.
Yeah. Football's showing great promise next year.
Yeah, definitely are. They made it to the national level, so that's something they're going to continue to strive for.
Yeah, they're gonna. That's going to become the new standard. They're going to keep pushing for that each and every year.
No, definitely. And another thing to mention is the field hockey team as well. They made it to playoffs, played at the national level, made it second place.
Yeah.
That's something. Another noteworthy accolade for them as well.
Nothing to look lightly on. And the coach, as she said in one of our past interviews, that's the standard. They're going to keep going for that, keep pushing. Everything in practices and their weight rooms, they're all pushing and fighting to get back there and win it again.
No, definitely. Another thing, the women's tennis teams as well making it to championships. They played till the quarterfinals, right? They unfortunately didn't continue in their season, right? But they'll be playing in the regionals. That's outside of the South Atlantic Conference, so that's something they're also looking forward to.
Yeah.
That we can look forward to as well.
Yeah, we can definitely look forward to that.
Yeah. And then lastly, things to watch out for 26 and 27. New team members being added to the roster, new students, new plans, routines,
No, especially in my sport. I play soccer, so we're bringing in plenty of people. We're looking to win the SAC and continue on, hopefully, to the national tournament. But all teams across the board are bringing in new people to look to add to their depth and give themselves a better chance for next year.
Yeah, definitely. Are you guys making any new, how do I say, hurrahs or something? Like when you guys score a goal, you guys
Got nothing like that, unfortunately.
No? That'd be pretty cool.
It's a great idea right there.
That would be a big team morale booster right there. So what are some other things that you're looking forward to, like when you're out there in the stands, watching sports?
Looking forward to football, honestly. just a great environment to go watch a game.
Mm-hmm.
Something else to do on campus. It's just always great, and always enjoy being there.
That's what's up. But for me, I'm looking forward to getting out there again for Wolves Weekly, recording the games and like immersing myself, more interviews with some of the student athletes and the coaches, because it's really cool all the stuff you can learn when you're picking their brain, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I've taken a few things myself from them. Like, for one of my favorite moments is talking to the baseball coach. I don't remember his name. And their ideology was just taking one game, one practice, one small step at a time, and to prepare for the bigger things.
Yeah.
And that's something that really, I felt, like it touched me, you know, because like sometimes like, oh man, I think too much, but it's like, just, hey, take it nice and slow.
Take it nice and slow, one step at a time.
One step at a time, yeah. And so yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, is just meeting more new people, meeting more people.
Building those connections.
Definitely. And I appreciate you, Brady, for this semester of Wolves Weekly. And that's all for this final edition of Wolves Weekly and for the spring. I'm Miguel Hernandez.
And I'm Brady Triplett.
And for all of us at the NCTV, have a safe and pleasant summer. We'll see you in September with more Wolves Weekly.
Wolves Weekly, sponsored by Bun and Run, where food is a 4-letter word, and by Tiger Co. Industries. From publishing to security services, it's Tiger Co. Wolves Weekly is a presentation of NCTV Sports. This is NCTV.